Hello, dear students. Today I will discuss on the topic liberal phase of press in India during company reign, the contributions of Lord Bentinck and Metcalfe for the growth of press in India. First, Lord Bentinck and his contributions. Lord William Bentinck was the Governor General of Bengal from 1828 to 1833 and Governor General of India from 1833 to 1835. He was considered as one of the founders of modern India because of the several radical reforms he introduced in India. His reforms were: first, he reformed the finances, he opened up judicial posts to Indians. His greatest work was in the social and intellectual fields, such as he prohibited sati, the Hindu custom of burning of widows on the funeral pyres of their husbands, suppressed thuggy, the practice of ritual murder by robber gangs. With the support of Macaulay, the legal member of his council, he made English instead of Persian the language of government business and of the higher courts. He also declared that the government aided education was to be on Western lines and the medium of instructions English. It has been highly said that he introduced the West to India. His contributions on the growth of newspaper. Apart from all the other reforms Lord Bentinck introduced in India, his policies helped the growth of print media in India. He had even encouraged journalism by assisting them through the government aids. His tenure in India constituted a liberal phase which was significantly witnessed with the growth of press around the corners of India. As there was no repressions, the press were allowed to grow. He had also instituted inquiries into the circulation and influence of newspapers. When he saw the advantages of newspapers published in the Indian languages working for social reforms and of relaxing restrictions imposed on the press. Several newspapers emerged during Bentinck's governor generalship in India, as it was recorded that the total 16 Indian language publications were started publishing in 1830 alone, in different formats. Not only language but English publications also grew rapidly as 19 new English newspapers came out between 1831 and 1833. The growth of newspapers during his governor generalship was witnessed around the corners of India. For example, Bombay witnessed the expansion of press at that point of time, as the Mumbai Vartaman was started in September 1830, and in the following year Jam-e-Jamshed was started publishing. The Bombay Samachar was also converted into a daily in 1832. The Bombay Darpan, the first Anglo-Marathi weekly, was started by Bal Shastri Jambekar in 1832. It was at first a fortnightly but converted into a weekly later. In Madras, one each newspaper in Tamil and Telugu were published with the help of a government grant. In the northwest provinces, a Hindi and an Urdu journal were started under government patronage. A noteworthy development during this period was that both Bengal and Bombay started official gazettes, the Bombay Government Gazette and the Kolkata Gazette. Now Metcalfe and his contributions to freedom of press. Metcalfe is known as the liberator of the Indian press for his contributions to Indian journalism during his brief term as Governor General. His tenure lasted just a year, from 1835 to 1836. Metcalfe succeeded Lord Bentinck in 1835, and he followed the policy he had advocated as a member of the Lord Bentinck's Governor General's Council. Intending to reform the press laws in the country, he appointed Macaulay, the legislative member of the Supreme Council, to draft a Press Act. Macaulay had advocated the uniformity of law throughout the country and had said that, quote, the act which I now propose is intended to remove both evils and to establish a perfect uniformity in the laws regarding the press throughout the Indian Empire. Should it be adopted, every person who chooses will be at liberty to set up a newspaper without applying for a previous permission. But no person will be able to print or publish sedition or calumny without imminent risks of punishment. Unquote. Macaulay believed that uniform press law needed to be enacted for the entire Indian Empire as the press freedom should be maintained. Everyone who wishes to should be allowed to publish a newspaper without obtaining the previous permission, although they will be punished if they publish sedition or slander deliberately. Metcalfe had approved the recommendation of Macaulay as he was a strong proponent of free press. He had appointed he had pointed out during his approval of Macaulay's recommendations that the press needs to be free as free press is no danger to the state or in such cases the government has the power to impose the remedy. As he also believed that the existing restrictions on press are shackled and they needed to be removed instantly. Indian Press Act of 1835. Under the Indian Press Act 1835, all the previous press regulations like the Bengal Press Regulations of 1823 and the Bombay Press Regulation of 1825 and 1827 were repealed. The new act was applicable to the entire territories of the East India Company. The new act required a declaration by the printer and publisher of a newspaper or periodical, the true and precise account of the premises of publication. In cases of changing or leaving the territories of the company, the fresh declaration was required. For not filling declaration, one is liable to be imposed a fine not exceeding rupees 5,000 and imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years was to be imposed. Every book or newspaper printed in a press after filling a declaration was to bear the name of the printer or publisher and the place of publication. If this information was not printed, there was to be a penalty. During the succeeding years from 1836 to 1856, the government's policy towards the press remained unchanged, as this period covered the period of governor generalship of Lord Auckland, Lord Ellenborough, Lord Hardinge, and Lord Dalhousie. As the press in India continued to grow with the help of the Metcalfe Act of 1835, the first railway construction in 1853 and opening of trains for general traffic in 1855 opened fresh possibilities for the press to grow.